Ready to turn a random fact into 5 different emails? Here we go. We're going to do things a little bit different today. I've got a fact, and then I've got 5 cards with random topics on them, and then I've got 5 other cards with different voice types. So I'm going to take them and mix them up, and we're going to come up with stuff on the fly. But let's start with today's random fact. Today's fact is, most maps of the world are wrong. On most maps, the Mercator projection, first developed in 1569, is still used. This method is widely inaccurate and makes Alaska appear as large as Brazil and Greenland, 14 times larger than it actually is. For a map to be completely accurate, it would need to be life-size and round, not flat. Okay, got a little bit to work with there. First thing that we're going to do, I've got super comfortable underwear, and we are going to write that in learning as we go. All right, learning as we go. Maps of the world are wrong. I just discovered this. This is wild. It turns out that there's this thing called the Mercator projector line. And what it is, it goes around the globe, but it's built on technology from 1569. That's like 400 years ago, more than 400 years ago. And the world has changed since then. We've evolved since then. There's a lot of technology that we still use, it turns out, that were based off things that are now completely irrelevant. We have the data, yet we're still reliant on these things. Sometimes we think things are bigger than they actually are. We're using the wrong data. This stuff is subjective because it's based off of your opinion, and maybe we think that Iceland is bigger than Greenland or nicer than Greenland simply because it's named that way for a specific reason. It's no longer really relevant. Underwear is kind of the same way. We're still using technology based off of old body types and old criteria and old materials. There's so much more to go here. I just discovered that there's this super soft microfiber technology that people are using that, yeah, it is based on cotton, but not the old cotton that was, picked in the Egyptian fields or even the southern plantations, but new hybrids of cotton that are always developing. We have new technology that can make things softer and can make things bigger than they appear, or maybe have parts that are in different places. Everybody is different. We are growing, we're evolving. The technology that we use for maps, that's outdated. The technology that we use for underwear, that's outdated too. But if you use whatever your brand of fancy underwear is here, you'll discover that the lines to comfort ain't always the ones that you really thought. Sometimes the stuff changes, sometimes your body changes. Maybe you're not, maybe you don't have parts where they used to be, maybe they shifted. Check out this brand of underwear and you'll be happy that you did. All right, kind of fun, kind of like, discovery of new things. We focus on that, the evolving technology, the changing in locations of things. So could be a fun place, could be a fun way to do it. Next up, random card is a 24/7 convenience store. And we're gonna do that in the Eternal Optimist voice, which is a voice of outlook. It's about the excited possibility about the future. It's about thinking that everything is gonna be great and that we can figure it all out and that we're in it together. So, 24/7 convenience store, written in Eternal Optimist, about most maps of the world are wrong. But they still get the general idea right. Yeah, sure, maybe the degrees are a tiny bit off and maybe plate tectonics have shifted, but we're still going to be able to get where we're going. Doesn't matter how you get here, we're going to be open when you are. We're going to be ready for you. We're going to be prepared. We've got all your favorite snacks. We've got all your favorite food, your drinks. You need a little bit of caffeine. We've got that for you too. You got pizza. We've got pretzels that don't ask how old they are, but they're ready for you. They're going to be delicious. We are stocked. We are here. Doesn't matter how you get here. We're going to be ready. Short and sweet for that one. Just doesn't matter how you get here. We're going to be ready. We're going to be prepared. You're going to have a great outcome. We're ready for you whenever you arrive. Easy peasy on that one. All right, let's go with number 3. Next up, we're going to go with a gourmet tomato sauce written in the Translator voice. Translator is a voice of authority. It's about making the complex simple. Basic vocabulary, shorter sentences, easy to understand. So, most maps of the world are wrong. It's not so much that they're wrong, it's that they're outdated. Sometimes the technology that we're using has grown. So if a map of the world is wrong, it's easy to think that the place that we're heading is actually where the best things are. but maybe that's not the case, because it's easy to think that the best tomato sauce comes from Italy, right? But now that we know that the maps of the world are wrong, maybe it's actually just a little bit off. We went to Italy, we looked for the best ingredients, we were told that that's where everything is. But once we discovered that the key, the latitude, the longitude, it was actually giving us a different direction and that we were digging in the wrong place, we wound up in Corsica. That is where the ingredients were freshest. It's where we found the best olives. It's where we found the best tomatoes. It's where we found the best ingredients and where we found the secret ingredients that made everything work. Everyone says that the best sauce is from Italy, and there's great sauce from Italy. But when you readjust and recalibrate your compass to today's modern standards, you'll find that the best tomato sauce is actually in Corsica. That's why we use locally grown and locally sourced ingredients strictly from Corsica. That's where the best stuff is. The other maps are wrong. We found the right spot. The secret is in Corsica. All right, kind of fun. Didn't really know where I was going with that, but I think it wound up in a good place. So what have we got next? We're going to go with a true crime podcast written in a parent voice. So a true crime podcast written in a parent voice. A parent voice is also a voice of authority, but it's a little bit more nurturing, a little bit more involved. It has made some mistakes and it wants you to learn from those mistakes. So the vocabulary is a little bit higher, the cadence is a little bit longer, and there's a more of a connected feel to it. Most maps of the world are wrong. This is why some crimes are so hard to solve, because we think we know where we're going, but they're always a little bit off, or sometimes we get there and we're a little bit too late. We're following the wrong directions. It's easy to think that we're going to get exactly where we think we're going to go, but there are going to be twists and turns that we don't expect. There are going to be new buildings. There's going to be road construction. Sometimes what we think the glove is going to fit and then we must have quit, but sometimes we don't. It's okay if those clues and those locations don't pan out exactly the way that we thought that they would, because I bet we're going to find some interesting things along the way. Our true crime podcasts isn't just about the straightest source to the answer. It's about the story that unfolds as we go, as we find the new directions, as we discover and wander and get a little bit lost and find things that really crack the case open, because nothing is ever as easy as it seems. All right, it's kind of fun, right? There we go. Last one that we're going to do, we're going to bring it back to brand voice, and we're going to write this one in voice of God. Voice of God is a more professorial sounding voice. It's more authoritative. It has extreme clarity and knowledge, and it basically says this is the way, this is the truth. It's more confident, and it uses more firm, structured language. Most maps of the world are wrong. In order to get a perfect map, there are many, many steps that most people don't realize. A globe can work because it's a true representation of the Earth. It's round, it's spherical, the distances are the same. By flattening out a map, you're going to have to make changes. It would be like trying to straighten an orange peel. You cannot do it in a way that makes sense. It would have to have different cuts and different folds. There are different perspectives. The maps are wrong because you physically cannot create a flat surface out of a round spherical object. This makes sense. The geometry is there. You cannot draw a straight line to it. You have to use different tools and different calibrations, and you have to be aware of how things rotate in different perspectives. Brand voice is the same way. It's not ever as easy as it thinks because people evolve, they rotate, they have different perspectives based on different topics. The math might seem easy, but when we realize that we're working with the wrong structure, that we're trying to measure distance on a flat surface as opposed to a round surface, we have to recalibrate our compasses and our measurement systems to get a true representation of what's there. It's easy to think that the basic tools will get you the answer, but the fact is they don't consider the circumference, the width, the dimensions, the multi-dimensional aspects of a person and of their voice. We have to adjust our settings. We have to use smarter, wiser tools. This is why brand voice is harder than it appears, because we're measuring something on a flat surface that's actually round. There are challenges. The math is there, but most of us are using the wrong formulas. I will show you the right way. That's what Brand Voice Academy is about. All right, so from there I can go in a couple of different ways, but you see all of these different elements, they all work based off the same random fact. This is fun. This is what we get to do with Brand Voice. Once we understand how we want the voice to sound, we can pitch anything. It doesn't just have to be about what I'm talking about. It can be whatever you're talking about. This is actually what Brand Voice Academy is about. Start off with the Brand Voice Bundle. It's the easiest way to get a little bit of information that will just open up your eyes into the different world, whether you're trying to add personality into writing, whether you're trying to understand the voice and the perspective of either yourself or a client. This is the way to go. Give it a look. And hey, we're just getting started with the Brand Voice Finder. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you soon.